since we're busting these terrorism plots just short of happening, are we really good at finding them? Are we lucky, or is it both?
I think it's both, and you don't know what you don't know. And that's the problem with these cells in the United States, is finding out where they are and then penetrating them. I think this New York plot probably has a more extensive network to it, and that's what they're working on, right now. But it takes you back to Afghanistan and the importance of why we're there in the first place. And I think the president needs to make the case more strongly as to why it is important to win in Afghanistan and not retreat and surrender from that mission. I think McChrystal, the general in charge of the operations there, has come up with his plan to what he needs to win, and he said if he's not given additional resources, that we're going to lose over there, because we are losing, and the Taliban's taken over about 40% of Afghanistan right now. So this is a very critical time in that conflict. I hope the president listens to his commanders on the ground who know how to win and how to carry out the mission.
Well, two things, and by the way, for just joining us, Congressman Michael McCaul. Congressman, we asked General Tommy Franks this week if we have the right guy in General Stanley McChrystal heading this up, and he says absolutely we do. And we've been kind of gaga over this guy this week since we all saw him on 60 Minutes, and he really does seem to be the right guy in the right place at the right time. But there's a lot of logic behind the argument that if we were successful in Afghanistan of driving the Taliban out of there, that we're just driving them over to Pakistan.
Pakistan's the issue. I mean, Pakistan brought us Ramzi Yousef, the 93 World Trade Center bomber, his uncle, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who carried out the 9/11 attacks. That is, when I returned there last 4th of July, at that time it was President Bush, and I told him, this tribal area has been festering since 9/11, and you need to deal with it because that's where they're training the terrorists.
In Pakistan?
In Pakistan.
Yeah.
Just across the border, because the soldiers in Afghanistan said, Congressman, they're coming from over there into Afghanistan. They're killing us, and it's the biggest threat to the homeland. So since that time, we've been able to work with Pakistan, and we have these drones that fly over with good intelligence and take
which we couldn't. They wouldn't let us do that before.
And before we couldn't. But now they are focused on the high value targets. But Pakistan continues to be a serious issue. They have nuclear capability, which makes it even more dangerous. And so that's why, in my view, either do it right or just get out of there. I mean, I think either you're there to win and carry the mission out, but don't tie the hands of the generals and commanders on the ground like we did in Vietnam, and we should learn from that lesson. I think in Iraq, we were able to turn it around by having this counterinsurgency strategy and the surge, and I think we need to put that same kind of focus in Afghanistan.
In Congress, where do we move from then? I mean, if they go to Pakistan, do we then go into Pakistan and have to do the same thing? Then to Syria? I mean, when does that all stop? Is it, and especially at home for us, I mean, how easy is it to get a visa or to get people from that part of the country? As you said, they come back over here after, being trained. How easy is it for them to just come in here to...
They move at will.
Yeah.
Well, on the point of, I think the idea of democracy is a little naive, given it's such a primitive country.
There's no government to bolster up there.
Yeah, it's almost like going back 2,000 years in time. But I think security and stability is the key objective. With respect to individuals traveling, I think that's one of the biggest concerns that the FBI has right now, and the intelligence community, are people in this country that have legal travel documents going to Pakistan training. As did Zazi, that's the guy that was just arrested in the New York case. He did exactly that. They trained him how to make chemical explosives.
Well, given the threat to our country, given your position there with in Congress with security, could the president just stop that, at least for now? Just stop international travel from those countries. Would that be all that devastating to us?
I mean, you could. That's pretty drastic. But if you just stopped all travel to Pakistan, that may have a good impact. I think the good thing is that is the travel to Pakistan is being monitored and looked at, and that's what they need to do, because anybody going into that country right now, particularly with legal documents, as this guy's a lawful permanent resident who left the United States and they came back. That's the great concern. And how many more Zazi type cases are out there? That's
right.
what we don't know.